Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. Today we're going to talk about grammar lessons. What are the most common mistakes that the teachers make while presenting a grammar lesson? So, just to recapitulate, a grammar lesson is a lesson which follows a PPU framework. So, it means, what is a framework? It means the steps that I go through when I present a lesson. The first P, normally it's 3 P's U. The first P stands for preparation. Here we're going to prepare our pupils for the target item. We're going to prepare our pupils for the grammar lesson. And then we have the second P, which stands for presentation. In this phase, you're going to present the new item for your pupils. We present the past simple, we present the past continuous, we present the possessive adjectives. I know it's sometimes difficult when you hear like framework, PPU, practice, presentation. It's like it sounds ambiguous and it sounds really difficult. But actually, I want to simplify things for you. Presentation, it means you're going to present the lesson of grammar to your pupils. How are you going to present this lesson? You're going to write it on the board. It's easy. You write on the board the new items. You write on the board the new form of a given tense, for example, of present simple for first-year pupils. And you're going to interact with your pupils in order to make them understand the use of this tense. This is just an example. And then after presentation, we move to practice. Here in practice, you're going to present activities. Practice, it means your pupils are going to practice and make, actually do activities. So we have types of activities. We have many types. You're not going to just give activities like that randomly. You have to follow a certain criteria while presenting activities. So your activities, the first activity should be form-based activity. It means that your pupils are going to recognize the structure. For example, if you are going to present, for example, a lesson of, for example, adverbs of frequency, always, never, and so on, you're going to give them a reordering activity, because the most important thing is that your pupils know the order of never and always and so on in the sentence. Not knowing or not understanding the meaning of the sentence. We don't care about understanding in the form-based activity. Why do we call it form-based? Because we focus on the form, we focus on the structure, we focus on the order of the words. That's why. The form-based activity is going to be tackling the structure. It means they know that this is a subject, for example, she or he, my mom, my dad, whatever. They see or recognize the verb, even if they don't understand what does that mean. They just know that this is a verb, and they're going to place never. For example, never, she, for example, early, gets up. So she never gets up early, because they know that never is going to be before the verb. Whatever we don't have to be, of course. Whatever they see to be, and you're going to explain that, of course, in the presentation phase, they're going to place never after the verb to be, and that's why we call this form-based activity. We don't focus on the meaning, we focus on the form. Then after the form-based activity, we have the meaning-based. Here we're going to focus on the meaning. It means your pupils won't be able to do this activity if they don't understand. For example, you can present matching. Question, answers, for example. If we present, for example, past continuous, for example, or present continuous, they're going to focus on the form of the question. Was she drinking coffee? They have to understand in order to match this question, of course, to the response or to the answer. So here we just focus on the meaning, and then we have a communicative based activity. Here your pupils are going to communicate, they're going to complete a dialogue, they're going to fill in the gaps, they're going to be creative, they're going to be not really creative, but they have to make efforts in order to do the activity, not like the previous activities. Then we have the last activity, which is going to be in the use phase. Here practice is over. 3 activities. Then the 4th activity is going to be in the use phase. Here your pupils are going to produce sentences, they're going to maybe make questions, they're going to make answers, maybe they're going to write a piece. So they have to like reinvest. It means use what they have understood to produce something. And here in the use phase, we insist and we focus on production. So these are the steps of actually a grammar lesson. You have to know that there are some mistakes that the teachers make while presenting a grammar lesson. The first mistake actually is moving to a presentation without preparation. This is a big mistake actually, because your pupils have to get prepared. How are you going to prepare your pupils? Ask them to fill in the gaps, make them listen, give them a text to read, ask them to come on the board and comment on them, interact with them. The most important thing is that you're going to, the examples are going to present in the presentation phase, is going to be relying on the preparation phase. It means you're going to elicit from your pupils in order to write examples relying on their ideas. For example, I'm going to show you two examples of grammar lesson. Third year. Here we have a third year lesson of interests and likes. So the interested in, fond of, keen on, and so on. Here, before preparation, I asked my pupils some questions. What do you like to do in your free time? Do you have some interests? What are the fields of interest that actually make you curious to know more about? Here it's just quick questions of some seconds, and I'm going to move directly to preparation. Here, the preparation phase, I'm going to make my pupils listen to a conversation between two people talking about interests. So here, I'm going to rely on this dialogue in order to present my lesson. After this dialogue, I'm going to ask questions to my pupils based on the dialogue. What's Karim interested in? What game does he prefer? How often does he play it? So here I'm asking specific questions in order to get what I want. Don't ask broad questions. Don't say who is Karim. We don't care who is Karim. We just care about the interests of Karim. Here I am focusing on the expressions of interest, interested in, fond of, and so on, and I am interested in the adverbs of frequency. That's why I ask questions about how often does he play it. So about the frequency of this activity. So here you just have to know how to prepare your pupils. You just have to know how to ask questions based on this dialogue of preparation in order to present the new item. In the new item, in the presentation, I just write on the board based on my pupils' answers. Karim is interested in computer games. He always plays them, but he never wins. Emily is keen on reading. She usually reads. That's what I actually need in my lesson. So the next lesson will be adverbs of frequency after interested in and keen on. I just relied here in preparation on my previous dialogue. Do you remember what is Karim interested in? How often does he play? What about Amal? How often does she read? Here, my questions are specifically concerning the frequency. Here, after preparation, I'm going to present. Of course, my pupils are going to answer, and I write on the board. Karim always plays computer games. He never wins. Amal usually reads. And of course, I focus on colors. You have to highlight the new items. And of course, I'm going to interact with my pupils. Where is the verb? Where is the subject? Where is always? What does it mean always? What is the opposite of always? Here, there is an interaction between pupil and teacher in order to move directly to the rule. I give you another example of preparation task, and here it's different because I'm not going to ask my pupils relying on a dialogue. I'm going to ask my pupils relying on a picture. Here, for example, in the lesson of can, abilities and inabilities, here the teacher is going to show a picture to her pupils where they can see a list of abilities: surf, swim, drive, etc. And of course, she is going or he is going to ask questions based on this picture. I'm going to move to interaction. What do you see? What can you do? Can you sing? Can you surf? Can you skate, etc.? And here I'm going to elicit from my pupils and write examples on the board. When I write the examples on the board, I have to write different forms. Here, when I write the examples on the board, I write different forms in order to make things clear for my pupils. I can sing affirmative, he can dance negative, can you skate, interrogative, and short answers. Here my presentation is exhaustive. I don't have to write 3 sentences of affirmative form and then I'm going to transform them and negative form and then interrogative. Is going to be a waste of time. This is the second mistake most teachers make. I'm going to waste time. I'm going to get my pupils confused, etc. Just try to write exhaustive presentation, interrogative, negative, and affirmative forms at once. And then I'm going to interact with my pupils, moving through isolation, analysis, stating the rule. Most teachers make is actually the grading of the activities. As I said, the type of activities, of course, should be related to the form, to the meaning, to the communication, and of course, we have an activity at the end, which is in the use phase. Here, I'm going to show you an example. Look here in the same lesson of abilities and inabilities. I'm going to start with a form-based activity in which I'm going to ask my pupils to reorder the words to get sentences. In the second activity, I'm going to ask my pupils to match the halves, so they have to understand in order to do this activity. And then we move to a communicative-based activity. Answer the following questions. Can you draw like an artist? Can your father cook delicious dishes? What can you do in your free time? Here it's guided. It means your pupils are not going to write big sentences or answer fully, or they just have to say yes, no, and you're going to help them, of course. But in the use phase, it's something different. After these 3 activities, you're going to state the rule. And here it's the 4th mistake that most teachers make. They state the rule before the activities. It's a big mistake. Make your pupils practice before you state the rule, after 2 or 3 activities. Stating the rule should be done as an activity, should be given as an activity of filling the gaps. Complete the rule, and they're going to complete based on what they have understood. After stating the rule, I repeat, stating the rule, you can make it after the first activity, after the second activity, after the third activity, but not at the beginning, not before practice, after practice. And then in the use phase, I'm going to ask my pupils to, of course, I'm going to contextualize my instruction. Your partner wants to know about your abilities. Write a short paragraph or sentences telling him what you can and you can't do. Of course, you're going to show them the picture that you actually have shown them at the beginning in order to make it clear for them. Another mistake that teachers make actually is related to the organization of the grammar lesson in terms of writing, in terms of presenting it word. Actually, we have some teachers that write, for example, the date, sequence, lesson, examples, and then they explain, and then they write activities, and then they write the second activity, the third activity, and then they ask their pupils to write the examples, the rule, the activities, and then it's really confusing, it's really a mess. You have to organize your lesson. First, you write the date. I'm going to show you. Here we have the date, we have sequence 3, lesson. We're going to leave the lesson empty because your pupils are going to guess the title. After, of course, eliciting from them the maximum of output. Here in this example, this is the past continuous tense. I'm going to, of course, after preparation, I'm going to ask my pupils to write the date, sequence 3, lesson, and I write examples on the board. And of course, I highlight my new items, was revised and was prepared. I'm going to write it in another color. And I'm going to interact with my pupils. After that, I'm going to ask my pupils to write these examples on the board after they have actually discovered the title of the lesson. Then I'm going to move to activity 1. I'm going to write it on the board and I stop. When they finish writing the examples, they're going to move to the activity. They're going to do the activity. You're going to correct it together. After you correct the first activity, you move to the rule. Here it depends where you're going to present the rule. You write some spelling rules, they write with you, you explain, and then you move to the second activity. You write the activity, you ask your pupils to write it, you correct the activity together. Then you move to the third activity. Or you can present the second and the third activity at once, and you ask your pupils to do it. Maybe you may correct some copybooks, and then you correct second and third activity at once. It's okay. Then you're going to stop, and then you're going to move to the use phase, and you add the fourth activity, and you either ask your pupils to do it in class if you have time. If you don't have time, ask them to do it as a homework, and when they come back the next day, you're going to correct it with them. Another common mistake that the teachers make is related to the activities. We know that we have to stick to the lesson plan, but not at 100%. For example, I present the form-based activity from the lesson plan, and then I see that the second activity, which is a meaning-based activity, it's somehow difficult for my pupils. So I'm going to refer to the book. I'm going to use an activity from the book. Just an example. For example, I present the form-based activity, the meaning-based activity, which is going to be written on the lesson plan. And then I want to state the rule. But when I saw my rule, it's not really like convincing. I may use the rule of the book. I ask my pupils to make photocopies, or I ask them to write the rule of the book. For example, I don't want to waste time. The lesson is very long, and I am with fourth year pupils, and I have to finish my lesson. I'm going to write the form-based activity on the board, the second maybe on the board, and I'm going to write the third and the fourth. I'm going to prepare the third and the fourth on handouts, on pieces of paper, to not waste time. It's really practical and feasible. Or, as I said, I may use the activities of the book or the rule of the book. So the book is always like it's a support. So it helps us a lot. And we have another mistake related to activities. It's actually the fact of writing different number of lessons or different number of sentences in each activity. For example, in the form-based activity, you're going to write 3 reordering sentences. In the meaning-based activity, for example, matching, 3. It should be 3. Don't write 4 or 5. And not write 1 or 2. Just the average is 3. If you started with 3 sentences in the form-based, in the second activity, write 3 sentences to make a harmony. In the fourth activity, 3 sentences. In the third activity, communicative-based, 3 statements. And then, for example, in the use phase, if you are going to ask your pupils to write sentences using present simple or past continuous or whatever, ask them to write 3 sentences. So there should be some harmony in your activities. That's all for today, my dear colleagues. I hope it was useful. I just have to say something. If you are with fourth year, just seek for strategies and ways to not waste time, to make things, of course, clear without wasting time, especially in grammar. As you may know, we have many lessons of grammar in fourth year program. If you are with third, second, and first year, if you cannot present the lesson in 1 hour, especially grammar lesson, just do it in 2 sessions or 3 sessions, as it requires many activities and much practice and so on. So you have to take your time while presenting a grammar lesson with the other levels. And with fourth year, you just have to find strategies. The teacher is creative, and it has to be like that all the time, with all the grades, not just fourth year. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for your motivation and for your comments. I'm just grateful, and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.